Okay, make sure that this works. What are you doing behind me? What are you doing? You're a little turd. You're a little turd. What are you doing? Oh, I'm already 30 seconds in and I forgot that I had set the camera on. What's going on, guys? It is IceLikeCoop88, also known as Steve. And back again with another bento box. And this is actually January's theme. And it is 1/25/2017. It is 7:27, so it's almost 7:30. At night, of course. I wouldn't be doing this early in the morning. I'm not that much of a morning person. Also, my glasses are extremely dirty. Anyway, yeah, I was sitting there making sure the cat wasn't gonna dig in the carpet, and also he was wanting me to pet him. Anyway, but that's beside the task. Okay, yeah, January's comic bento box. The theme for this box, guys, is red/blue, or red and blue, which I honestly don't mind. It's actually kind of cool. And of course, February's box, as they say, is going to be the Builders. Builders will be February's theme. That'll be interesting. But anyway, yeah, I like the theme for this. This is a good kickoff theme for the month of January. So it's like, I thought it was red versus blue, but it's like red and blue. And I love this. It may be a little vague in terms of our usual theme choices, but the colors red and blue tend to have a lot more to do with your life than you realize. Sure, in video games and politics, red and blue are very obvious, but did you know that exposure to the color blue can enhance creativity and red can help attention to detail? Also, red is considered a power color, and studies show that it pays off. In 2012, a European study found that men gave between 14.6% and 26.1% more to waitresses wearing red, while color had no effect on female patrons' tipping behavior at all. It's unknown if the choice of cloak affected Little Red Riding Hood in the nursery rhyme, but I'm pretty sure it helps her out as Agent Red in Code Red. Oh, sorry, I got caught up in reading this because it fascinated me. Okay, and this of course is a Zenescope book, which is cool. So it's like, yeah, so Little Red Riding Hood, and hey, look at that. It's one of my, and look at that, Zenescope, of course, and it's a Pat Shand book. For those of y'all that don't follow Pat Shand on social media, I do. I'm actually on Facebook friends with him, and I talk with him on occasion when he's not busy. He does a lot of like Grimm's fairy tales. He's had, I think if I remember approximately like a 3-year run on Robin Hood, maybe a singular year. It's hard with creators to keep track of like all their projects, but he's done a lot of work for Zenescope, and he actually just recently is going to be stepping away from Zenescope. He's going to be pursuing other projects. I'm getting tongue-tied because I'm getting ahead of myself. He just did a Kickstarter not too long ago last year to raise money for his first creator-owned, published, or crowd-funded project, which is Destiny New York. I did not contribute to the Kickstarter, I will admit, and I did try to spread word of mouth, as did a lot of my friends that are fans of Pat's and or friends of his. But I think you guys should at least like look into Destiny, Destiny New York. Very fun book, especially if you're a Pat Shand fan or you're a fan of a lot of his Zenescope work like this. It's going to be something new. It's going to be different. It's going to be his own creator-owned like book. He's venturing out into that part of the wilderness. Very cool story. It's about a female magician who lives in New York City. Also, if I remember correctly, I'm gonna feel bad. It's either Emily or Emma. I think it starts with I think the character starts with an E, and the Garbage Girl, um, which was a standalone story that he also did that was creator owned. That was about a you know immortal vampire who is, I guess, trying to find her place in the world after millennia or so. I don't know. You guys can look this stuff up. I felt like going on an aside because I thought that was kind of funny. Because I'm like, it's like I've read a lot of Pat's stuff, but I wanted to expand on a lot of his Zenescope work, especially. So that's kind of funny. I get to read another Pat Shand book. But yeah, Grimm's Fairy. If you've never heard of Zenescope or a lot of their books, which I guess you're living under a rock, either that or you're a new comic fan. Which if you're a new comic fan, you guys might like this universe. And for those of y'all that are looking to expand your horizons as comic fans beyond the big two, Zenescope's a cool company. And you're asking yourself, okay, Grimm's Fairy Tales. It's like, is all this based on? It is very much like Once Upon the TV show Once Upon a Time. If anybody watches that, basically, the best way to put it is imagine if I guess the best way to describe Zenescope's universe is imagine if you took the Fables series and then added a little bit of classical like Brothers Grimm literature, Wizard of Oz, like all these different fantastical universes and characters. And what if you changed them up? What if the legends were different? What if some characters were legacy? What if some places were in the same universe, but they were in between like fictional dimensions? So like the Emerald City and Wizard of Oz are one dimension. The monster universe where Van Helsing and all of them are another dimension. And what if you had secret agents that were fairy tale characters? Very similarly, Robin Hood in this case was, her name is Robin Locksley, and her father was the original Robin Hood. Or at the very least, she's taken up the Robin Hood mantle, and you got Snow White and Dorothy and all them as agents, female secret agents for a program that's in between all the dimensions in the Zenescope universe. It's very complex. It's a very complex universe, and plus I already wasted a couple of minutes explaining this, so I'm going to move on before I start getting into this. But I think it'll be cool. I think you guys will like this. But yeah, the Realm Knights series, that's what the name of the organization is. They're the Realm Knights, the representatives from the different dimensions. They're best people. So yeah, Code Red. Code Red, Pat Shand, Little Red Riding Hood, Secret Agent. Moving on. Moving on. Now here's a comic Bento exclusive, which is Phantom Blue, which I've actually heard of, which is from Aspen Comics. So that's okay. So it's a Comic Bento exclusive. Man, Aspen Comics has been getting a lot of Comic Bento exclusives. Not that I'm complaining. And it's the complete first volume, so I'm not going to complain. That's actually kind of cool. Okay, so Fathom Blue, Aspen Comics. I'm starting to branch off into places like Aspen and whatnot, like more smaller indie companies or like, low level comic companies. Not just in case like, my work gets good enough that I can find that I can, get into writing for companies or doing work for companies, but also just expand your horizons. So yeah, Fathom Blue, the first volume. So exclusive to Comic Bento. No surprise there. And one I had to laugh at because I think I still have my copy. I got one copy signed by Gail Simone, and I gave an extra copy away for somebody to read unless I still have it. But if I have the other copy, then this will make three. But Legends of Red Sonja, which I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I like this. If you guys have never read this, this is basically an anthology series done by Dynamite. However, this anthology is basically it's one continuous story, or it's like a bunch of small stories about Red Sonja, just like the name implies. It's different legendary stories about the red she devil with the blade, or the red-haired she devil with the blade. And I mean, you got Gail Simone, you got Kelly Sue DeConnick, Nancy A. Collins, um, Marjorie Liu, Leah Moore. I'm presuming that's how you pronounce it. Leah. So there's um, Nicola Scott. Nicola Scott's another one. I mean, there's Blair Butler. Um, so yeah, there's quite a collection of stories, and it's like 11 stories all together in this one collection. So yeah, so and the cool part about this was this anthology was entirely put together by Gail Simone herself. So she handpicked everybody to, well, at least on the writing side, she handpicked everybody. The artists just chose to, be handpicked afterwards by each person who wanted to tell their story, which is fun. It was meant to be a fun anthology, and it's actually one of my favorite Red Sonja Dynamite books. Compared to the previous omnibuses before Gale's run. So, and the last one I always kind of wanted to read, but I was very hesitant to. And the last book of this entire thing, which it is a Marvel book, and it is Spider-Man Blue by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, which is basically this book is basically a Peter Parker Gwen Stacy story. Like this story, Jeff Loeb wrote this as basically a love letter to, it's it's an anniversary or two or a couple of years after Gwen Stacy's death on the Golden Gate Bridge. And so Peter is on Valentine's Day reminiscing about, Gwen's death, and just reminiscing about his memories about her, and how much different things could have been. So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting story about, okay, Peter missing Gwen, but also realizing, that, he has to move on. This is the story of how they fell in love, or more appropriately, how they almost didn't fall in love. Yeah, so this is basically, I guess, like the in-between story leading up to the critical moment when Gwen Stacy lost her life. So it's Peter basically recounting and reliving those events. See, that's kind of sad, actually, but that's going to be fun to read through. But that is it, guys. That is the red/blue box. That was actually fun. It's a nice little collection. You get Spider-Man, you get Red Sonja, you get Fathom Blue from Aspen Comics, which one of their more popular books, and you get a Grimm's Fairy Tales, Red Riding Hood story that spins out of Realm Knights. But for me, it's more, oh yay, I get another Pat Chan Zenescope book to read through. Some of y'all are probably just like, man, Steve, you were all over that Zenescope stuff. I will admit I did kind of geek out a little bit there, but it's just, I like Zenescope's universe. I like the things that they do. Because it's fun and interesting to me. Hang on. There we go. Had to get that down in there. But anyway, guys, that has been the red versus or red, blue box. That was fun. It's a nice little collection. I didn't mind a lot of those books. I'll have to definitely read through those later. But for now, guys, so remember, February, it's going to be the Builder's box. And who knows when this will get posted, but this is right towards the end of January, going into February, so we'll see where things go. We'll see where it heads. But anyway, I will see you guys